Stay frosty and head over to easymutt.com for the cheapest mutt coins on the market. And when I say cheapest, I mean it. We're talking 1 million coins for around $40. Use code DIRECTOR for 5% off. Yo, what up, brothers? It's the Director. Chargers fans camp is officially underway. Oh, this is one of the most exciting times of year for me because that just means Chargers football is just around the corner. I think a week from today, we got the Hall of Fame game in a couple weeks. Chargers football will officially kick off in the preseason. There is so much to get excited about right now, guys. But I think as fans right now, the biggest thing that I'm excited about is paying attention to what they're doing at training camp. Day one was yesterday. I'm recording as day two is going on right now, and I wanted to start looking into what previews we're going to get of the 2021 Chargers, what Brandon Staley's going to be doing. I think, again, this is going to be one of the most important training camps Chargers fans will have watched in a while because we struck gold last season with Justin Herbert, franchise quarterback, and bringing in brand new head coach Brandon Staley. It's going to be another test in the resume of Justin Herbert, as he's not seen a lot of consistency at head coach and coordinator. He's about to do it again with Brandon Staley, and Chargers fans super optimistic at what Brandon Staley will be bringing to the table, right? Very creative guy, very intelligent guy, and I think he's going to add a lot to this team. And this is why training camp is so important this year. We're finally going to be able to see a preview of all the things we've been speculating over the offseason, and it should be a really good one, guys. So in this video, we're going to be going over a lot of these different notes, different takeaways from training camp and day one, maybe a little bit from day two as well, and see what the Chargers are working on to improve and honestly make a nice playoff push in 2021. So before we do get started, guys, as a reminder, we got a giveaway going on right now, and I do have a bunch of stuff on my wall over there, guys. That's a preview of giveaways to come, but for right now, we are giving away the signed Joey Bosa football. Again, these are more of like a thank you, right? Thank you guys so much for coming into my channel, helping this channel grow, and keeping the lights on around here. This is a thank you from me to you. So all you guys got to do to enter to win this Joey Bosa football, so number one, be subscribed. Only subscribers can win, and then hit up the link in the description, follow the instructions there. Super simple. But we're not done there, man. We also have to give a huge shout out and thank you to our crew members. I'm giving this number 85 signed Antonio Gates jersey away to one of my crew members. Again, all you got to do to enter for this one is be a member of my crew. Crew members, shout out to you guys, man. You guys do so much for this channel. Thank you so much for helping us get through this off season. And with that, boys, let's get into this one. Before we do, hit us up with a like and sub if you do enjoy this content and want to join the giveaway for the Joey Bosa ball. The small amount of time you guys take to hit the like, sub, and bell notification helps me out a lot. Let's get into this one. Lights, camera, action. Chargers training camp, take one. I think we're going to title this video "Disguise and Injury Prevention." I feel like that's the theme of what we've been saying. But first, I kind of want to go over some of this stuff because I didn't get to go to training camp. I didn't get to see all this stuff live. I kind of want to get a little preview of things that people got a first-hand look at. This is one play that I did take a note of right here, right? We got Michael Davis in coverage versus Jalen Guyton. A lot of big expectations on Michael Davis this season, up against a very speedy wide receiver in Jalen Guyton. Nice pass breakup there. Here's a nice play right here to T. Billy right here, man, getting open. A lot of Chargers fans excited to see what he can do this season as well. If he can work on his route running a little bit, I think his catching is top notch. He's going to be a very, very nice addition to this Chargers offense going into 2021. So here's what's going to happen, guys. I took a bunch of notes, right? A lot of these sources coming in from Chargers Pulse. I think they read on The Athletic, tons of stuff right there. And I just kind of want to give you my take on some of the things that have been noticed at training camp while we kind of go over some of the coolest photos and stuff taken at training camp as well, okay? So the first note I got right here, it says the Chargers 75-minute practice. They're allowed 2 hours, but length was chosen by Staley to help prevent injuries. So what I'm saying by that is the Chargers only practice for 75 minutes. To some people, I'm sure to all the professionals in the league, like, wow, the Chargers only practice. That's crazy. They can practice up for up to 2 hours. And I think it's because Brandon Staley, when he came into this team, right, he probably looked at all the things the Chargers need to improve on. I'm pretty sure at the tippity top of that list was injuries, man. The Chargers been struggling with injuries for as long as I can remember, and this seems to be one of the steps that Brandon Staley is taking in order to help prevent that. 75-minute practices, again, it shortens the window a little bit for how much the players can practice and get used to the scheme, but it also shortens the amount of time that the players can get injured, and I think that's a very, very nice, choice by design of Brandon Staley in order to help prevent that. I don't know if it ever said to prevent injuries, but I think it's pretty blatantly obvious that that's what he's trying to combat right now. Additionally, in the same light and category, teams in the NFL during training camp can practice 6 days straight. Okay, that's pretty standard procedure. You want to, engrave these players with their schemes and playbooks and all that kind of stuff. The Chargers, however, will only host 4 days in a row at maximum. Again, it also feels like it's in the same light of injury prevention. Okay, and additionally in this notes right here, I did put that 3 days on, 1 day off resembles a regular season. 6 in a row probably is not a good idea for the Bolts given their history with injuries. So what Brandon Staley was saying, I think in one of his interviews, is that this rate of practicing does resemble more of what they're going to face in the actual season, and maybe as a cherry on top, it does help prevent injuries. So they're going to be practicing for the most part 3 days on, 1 day off, and hopefully that gives the Chargers players enough time to learn the playbook, as well as limiting the opportunities for them to get injured. What else did I have put in here? Veterans. Staley's paying attention to veteran workloads. Obviously, he's a very intelligent guy. He's seen guys that have played in this league for the last 10 years or so. He's going to know how to make sure they get enough practice in without overdoing it. Now, this is one thing that I'm very excited about right here, okay? I'm going to read this one out to you guys. Staley's scheme has been lightly previewed. Let me say lightly because obviously he doesn't want to give away what he's doing to our opponents throughout the year. But everything that we've seen in his defense, there's been a lot of base packages and stuff like that, very basic stuff, but there's so much that previews to what he's going to be doing as far as disguise and complexity, okay? The Chargers defense, I think for the first time for a lot of Chargers fans, is going to look a lot different. Okay, things are going to be disguised. And one of my notes right here, too, I had there was a rotating slot at one point, right? So a lot of the times you got a player playing in the slot cornerback position or whatever it may be, because we did have Uchenna Nwosu playing there. We had Derwin James. We had Asante Samuel. And that really can pay dividends to what is the defense doing? Offensive coordinators like, well, who's really playing the slot? Who's covering who? And that is a great example of what Brandon Staley's going to be doing for this defense. Of course, Chargers fans by now should know that Brandon Staley is going to be overlooking the defense, calling defensive plays, and designing the entire playbook around what he's been doing, let's say in Los Angeles, to help keep things complex for offensive coordinators. The Chargers have passed with Gus Bradley, maybe a little bit easy to read. They really only ran a couple of different things. With Brandon Staley, things are going to look a little bit different. I think one of the most surprising things I did see here with the rotating slot, we had CHJ, we had Asante, we had Derwin, but also Uchenna Nwosu playing snaps at slot as well, which is very, very interesting. And in highlight right here, I have it bolded, I have it underlined. It says, Derwin was everywhere. And that's exactly what Brandon Staley needs, right? We talked a little bit about Xavier Howard a couple of days ago and why I'm so about the idea of bringing him to the Chargers, because I want Brandon Staley to have his Jalen Ramsey. I want whatever piece works so well for him with the Los Angeles Rams to be available to him with the Los Angeles Chargers. And in a way, yeah, Xavier Howard would be an awesome addition to this team. But we can't forget that he also does have Derwin James. Brandon Staley has Derwin James, and he's going to be able to utilize him not exactly the same, but in a lot of different ways that will keep offensive coordinators guessing, right? And that's exactly what Brandon Staley knew he was going to do with Derwin James as soon as he signed on with the team. I think it's pretty evident in training camp that he's going to keep people guessing, and Derwin James is going to be used to his max capacity. Again, in combination with injury prevention, it just really feels like Brandon Staley knows what he's doing with this team, and it should be a very efficient defense this season. I think that's one of the biggest surprises Chargers fans are going to feel, because last season the defense not that good, a lot of injuries, we gave up so many yards to the run. I think this season it could definitely be a surprise to us fans. Because again, 2 years ago, we're talking about the Chargers maybe being a top 5 defense in the league. Lots of things changed. Maybe the defensive scheme was really poor, injuries. That didn't really happen in 2020. I think a lot of those players still exist with the Chargers today. And if anyone's going to unlock that potential, it's this man right here, and Brandon Staley. think people are very excited. I'm very excited with what I'm seeing as far as disguise and all that kind of stuff. He's utilizing his players in areas of their strengths rather than their weaknesses. And that just tells me the Chargers are moving in the right direction, okay? Another thing I put down here in my notes is that iron sharpens iron, okay? Herbert is going to challenge this secondary. Herbert is going to challenge this defense. He's definitely, one of the better, especially one of the best young quarterbacks in the league right now, the best NFL rookie quarterback we've ever seen. And he's going to challenge that defense in several different ways. However, Herbert's going to learn a lot from the way Brandon Staley is running this defense this season, right? What was one of the things, a lot of people hating on Justin Herbert before he was drafted? What was one of the biggest things maybe people were worried about? Maybe his ability to read defenses, leadership skills, stuff like that. All under the table now. But what I'm saying is that potential maybe weakness or whatever people were labeling it as beforehand is now going to be turned into a strength. Because Brandon Staley, his defense is not easy to read. His defense is not easy to play. And if you're looking at it from the quarterback's perspective, it's going to teach the quarterback how to handle situations like that a lot more efficiently. And when you utilize players like Derwin James and you see him all over the field, you don't know what he's doing, it can help players like Justin Herbert adjust on the fly. Iron sharpens iron, guys. Remember that. The Chargers defense, I think it's one to really look out for this season, and Justin Herbert will be benefiting from that the complexity of that defense in the way that he reads the situation unfolding in front of him. A couple other things here. I did see that Joe Reed is seeing improvements in his release and catching. He caught a deep pass on a go route from Easton Stick that was quite impressive, so we're seeing a couple players stand out in their development. Another nice rapport that we're seeing is between Chargers quarterback Justin Herbert and tight end Jared Cook. This is something I'm actually kind of excited to hear about, right? The Chargers and losing Hunter Henry, a lot of fans, myself included, super bummed out about that. Maybe that took away from the hype of Jared Cook a little bit, right? Jared Cook, he's old, like 34, 35 something, right? And it just doesn't feel like he's going to be a permanent add to this team. He's kind of like a stepping stone in the Chargers offense for 2021. But and the reality of the situation is that Jared Cook's a really good player. He's a vertical tight end. He's a very good receiver. He's a really good route runner. He's tall. He's fast. Even in his old age, I think he's going to add a lot to this Chargers offense, right? And I think Joe Lombardi, offensive coordinator, said at one point that Jared Cook is really easy to throw to, and it's going to help Justin Herbert in this season a lot. And right now in training camp, it seems that Justin Herbert and Cook are developing a rapport together. And I think maybe this might be a surprise to the Chargers offense in 2021 with how much we do utilize that tight end position. They brought in Jared Cook for a reason, right? Obviously, Joe Lombardi knew him, and he knows the way that he plays, and Justin Herbert and him are obviously going to make some plays together. But I think the way that they're developing chemistry together might spell that they do rely on Jared Cook a little bit more this season. So maybe pay attention to that if you're a fantasy player. I don't know. But I think more importantly, Jared Cook offers a lot of value in the red zone. And I think Justin Herbert and him developing chemistry now is going to be very important to putting up points later, right? I also put in here is that Herbert and Allen looking solid, looking good, looking as crispy as ever. That's going to be a really nice thing for the Chargers this season. I think I do need to add to that, though, that the first off season for Justin Herbert, where he's practicing with the ones, his really first practice, the COVID protocols aren't as harsh this season or whatever. They figured out a lot of the different things in that aspect. It's going very well. We'll go with that. It's going very, very well. Herbert is going to benefit tremendously from all the snaps he's taking with the ones. Continue to build chemistry with guys like Keenan Allen, new guys like Jared Cook. Tyron Johnson, I think, is going to benefit a lot too. All the receivers are going to benefit a lot too from playing more with him in the offseason. This is all spelling to a nice follow-up season for Justin Herbert, right? Maybe some guys a little bit worried about Justin Herbert in his second year. I think from what we're seeing in camp right now, it's pretty evident that the worries about a sophomore slump maybe can be put to rest a little bit. Anything can certainly happen, but from what we're seeing in camp right now, Justin Herbert's doing an excellent, excellent job, okay? Michael Davis is playing great. Yeah, we saw that clip at the beginning. Big play against Jalen Guyton. The defense is turning heads. Yes, I did put down right here. Chris Harris Jr. has been blitzing. Joey Bosa has been playing against the pass. He swatted a couple of passes. Kyle Fackrell got in there for a sack. The defense is starting to turn some heads, right? And again, like I said before, the Chargers defense may be something that's a little bit under the radar because they underperformed last season. Again, with Brandon Staley and honestly a solid roster of defensive players as well as returning players like Drew Tranquill we're seeing here in Derwin James, this defense honestly could surprise a lot of people this year. And I think that's kind of what happens in the NFL, right? When it comes to defenses, it's very rare that you see a defense, take the top spot one year and then return the next year as the best defense in the league. Things rotate, right? I think where you want to find consistency is being a solid defense, a top half defense. And the Chargers certainly could emerge as a very solid defense this season under the radar because of what happened last year. As far as some of the standouts we're seeing right now, I'm sure that Mike Williams is doing great. Look at this, guys. I don't know if a lot of people know this, but he did cut his hair. The first thing I thought when I saw that he cut his hair was, thank goodness, his helmet might not pop off every time he takes a hit, right? He looks solid, man. He's going to be very good this season. A standout undrafted free agent so far has been Amin Mbogbemiga. I promise you guys, I'm going to get the hang of saying his name all the time. He batted a pass from Easton Stick. He's looking really solid. As far as undrafted free agents go for the Chargers this season, I think Mbogbemiga, goodness, has as good a shot as anybody to make the team, okay? Also, at one point, Staley was really focusing on special teams, right? Let's see here. He had a rotating returner in Guyton, Johnson, Hill, Prohl. He's making sure that the Chargers are well equipped as far as the returner. And then he did have a lot of good players in there as far as that unit. So that's something really good. Again, it just shows me that Brandon Staley's paying attention to the weaknesses of this team and trying to adjust them accordingly or appropriately. Brandon Faison at some point, too, was working out with the ones when Chris Harris Jr. moved inside. He might be a sleeper. I'm sure there was a lot of good things to be said about him. I know Brandon Staley liked him a lot. He does possess the physical archetype of what you want in an outside corner. And if he can really tune up maybe a little bit over the offseason, he could emerge as a nice playmaker for the Chargers this season. But again, he was more of a depth piece for us for the longest time. Maybe he does step up and claim a spot, to get more playing time with the Chargers. Tranquill was relaying plays to the defense. He's got some leadership qualities. Brandon Staley was full go on defense. Lombardi had full control over the offense. That's also something we have to pay attention to going into next season. Again, Brandon Staley will be calling plays for the defense. Joe Lombardi likely to have a lot of control over the offense. We did see that in practice today. Mark Webb was looking good in 2 high safety looks with Alohi Gilman. I think he was practicing with the 2s and 3s. Mark Webb is definitely one of those guys that Chargers fans are certainly paying attention to this offseason. And then lastly, the last note that I have right here is the offensive line. They are lining up as expected. We've talked about this a lot. With that left tackle, Slater, left guard, Filer, center is Lindsley, right guard Ibushi, and right tackle is Bulaga. That's exactly what we were thinking was going to happen. And again, just a nice preview of the Chargers finally going out there with a nice offensive line. Chargers fans have not seen that in a very, very long time. So to wrap this up, guys, I kind of want to see some of these photos. This is the first time I'm seeing any of these photos. Here he comes back again, concussion protocol, make sure things are nice and fly there. We got Drew Tranquill back in action. Chargers are looking really nice out there, man. Really cool to see K9 out there with the number 9. We got Keenan Allen. We got Mike Williams, who again is almost unrecognizable without the hair, but man, I think that might have been a good choice for him. Very, very cool stuff, guys. So in the comment section below, as I continue to oogle over these photos, let me know what's some of the stuff that you're most excited about to hear from training camp, whether it be the receivers, defensive backs. I'm really looking forward to see what happens with guys like, Josh Palmer. I know a lot of Chargers fans super excited about him after the Sim Sundays episodes, but I'm also very interested to see what the pass rushers look like. I want to see Derwin James get after the quarterback more. I want to see what Fackrell can do. He's already got a sack this training camp. I want to see Chris Rumpf. I want to see Uchenna Nwosu. That's one of the things that I'm very interested in. So let me know in the comment section what you guys are interested in as well. My goodness, guys, just seeing these images make me so excited for training camp. Uchenna Nwosu, definitely one of those guys I'm keeping my eye on. Well, guys, thank you so much for joining me. This has been The Director. We'll be back, I'm pretty sure, with at least another take, maybe 2 takes of what's going on in training camp as we continue to pay attention to what this Chargers team could look like in 2021. Guys, again, thank you so much for joining me. This has been The Director. We'll see you next time, and as always, bolt up and stay frosty.